everybody, what is going on? This is Plan Your Greatness, and I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton. And let's get started today. We're back on track with getting back into the groove of producing this content. And I'm specifically going to talk about the theme of everything that I do, or everything as far as me producing content is going to come back around to, hold on a second, I need to get some light. There you go, it's a little dark. There we go. Everything that I produce as far as content is based around these three questions that come out of this book. And I'm going to explain those three questions. The book is called How to Plan Your Greatness. You can get it on Amazon. There's also another book on Amazon that I wrote called Fair Exchange, Conversations with an Uber Driver. That book has to do with the conversations that I had as a professional driver. I drove for a company, but I also was on the Uber platform, and I started recording the conversations, not physically recording them, but I wrote them down. I asked specific questions. I probably asked about 500 people different conversations. I documented like 370 something conversations. So I talk about what we talked about and what kind of this theme of life. And I'll get into that a little bit later on, but more specifically, everything I do is surrounded by these three questions. And that'll be probably the title of this video is the three questions. And it has to do with what came out of the book. Now, what I want to share with you is I believe, and I said this in the prior video. If you've not watched the prior video, it'll probably be some sort of connection to it. But I believe every successful person has asked and answered these three questions. And that is, they first have asked themselves, what do I want? Now, that comes specifically, if you want to kind of get an idea of where that comes from. In Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, most people don't know that book are the notes of his bigger book called The Law of Success. That book is about 600 pages long. It's like all of his research combined in about 17 different sections. All right? 600 and some pages. So he condensed that research into a smaller book, which was easier for people to read, called the Think and Grow Rich. And the number one thing in that book, he says, definition of purpose, definite chief aim. Know exactly what it is that you want. And I remember as I was transcribing my journal from prison when I got out, that has not been released yet, but that's going to be something later on as far as when I have some time to transcribe that prison journal. Because if you really want to know what I was thinking as I was in prison, it's in that journal. But as I was transcribing that journal, I started to notice, how was I so successful when I got out of prison? I started looking over those things, and then I noticed, there is a correlation between the things that I did, the way that I thought after I got out of prison, directly connecting to what I was thinking and what I was doing when I was a successful baseball player in high school and college and at the professional level. And I noticed that connection, and I immediately stopped transcribing the journal, and I ended up writing this book right here, How to Plan Your Greatness. Actually, the first one written is just called Plan Your Greatness. That's on Amazon as well. That was the first raw, lot of errors in that book, but I just wanted to get something out. This one looks more like a workbook, and this one actually has more stories, and I'm actually editing this to upload it to Amazon in, let's say, the next 3-4 months. I'm editing that book with the help of ChatGPT AI. So I'm editing that book so that I can put more stories in it and just clean it up a little bit because that book is eventually going to be in the prisons out here, hopefully, and then across the country. Well, let me put that out there. Yes, it is going to be in the prisons here in Arizona, and it's going to be in the prisons throughout the country as a book where people can read it and get inspired by my story from going from baseball to prison to being a successful business owner, investor, and all kinds of other good stuff. Author, speaker. All right, so Napoleon Hill said, definite chief aim, meaning you need to know exactly what you want. And so I've adopted that. You have to know exactly what you want. I mean, you need to know, like some people will say, well, I want $1 million. Okay. You now know $1 million, but okay, what exactly do you see yourself doing as opposed to just saying, hey, I want $1 million? Okay, bam. You may get it, but you may get it in the way that you don't want it. So you got to be very specific. It's got to be exactly what it is that you're looking for. Now, in a lot of cases, you're not going to get exactly what you want, but you're going to get something very similar or something in an area that you enjoy. Okay, so you must know first and foremost exactly what you want. So what do you want? All right. Number 2, you must know why you want it. And why comes in the form of what is the feeling, what is the emotion attached to that what. Now, I'm going to give you an example. When I got out of prison, I wanted to get my college degree. Why? Why did I want it? Because I wanted it for 2 very important reasons. One, I wanted to get that degree before my grandmother passed away. And I actually got that degree 4 years before she passed away. I graduated in 2003. My grandmother passed away in 2007. Now, some of you said 4 years. If you're watching this video, what were you doing 4 years ago? Exactly. That time flew by. In a blink of an eye, those 4 years went by. So when I got out of school and graduated, I took the biggest sigh of relief. I said, oh my God, I got that done before my grandmother passed away. Number 2 reason why I wanted to get that degree was my mom, as she would go and talk to people about her children, she would just go from down the list: Michael, Greg, Daryl, Anthony, Dale, Cheryl, me, Kim, Andre. She would go down to kids and just talk about the things that they were doing. Well, when I got locked up, she skipped over me because it was a very painful time in her life. And I said, you know what? How dare I do something that takes somebody off of their path where they just can't walk in this great experience. As my mom was aging, she needed to age gracefully. But her knowing that one of her sons were in prison, that was very stressful on her. So when I got out, I said, I am going to get this degree as fast as possible. As much as I did not like school, even though I'm an avid reader, I think I'm pretty smart. I think I can, conjugate verbs and do all that other stuff. I think I can problem solve. I think I can process information quickly. I just think I'm a smart dude. But I did not like school. So I basically got through that degree in about 3.5 years, kicking and screaming. But my mom and dad were in the audience upon my graduation. And that, to this day, when I think about me accomplishing that and basically getting my mom back into her right order of how she would be looked at or how she would talk about her children. And now I have gone above and beyond. If the topic ever comes up about me and somebody asks my mom about what I'm doing, my mom's going to say, oh, that little boy out there in Arizona, my baby out there, he's doing well. He's got that little smoke shop. He's got his little tax business. He had his little transportation company. He went back to school. Yeah, he had a little rough patch, but he is doing things. And I love hearing from him. And I love speaking, talking to my mom on a regular basis. So there must be something greater than yourself, or it doesn't weigh heavy on that what. You can have a what, but if it does not have something that is, again, bigger than yourself, which is what getting that degree from my grandmother, getting that degree to prove to my mom that I wasn't just this kid that just went off the rails, that I brought myself back in order. And so now she can think of all 9 of her kids in the best possible light. All of us are doing well. Nobody's in jail. Nobody's on drugs. Nobody's sick. I mean, really, my mom could probably write a book and just say, how did you do that? How did you love on these kids the way that you did, that even with one of them going sideways, he was able to see you as the light to bring himself back in focus. So that's number 2. And number 3 is the imagination. What I mean by that is, after you know what you want and you have this energy, this desire to really know why you want to accomplish that, I believe every successful person gets an image in their mind as to what it looks like. And it's so strong in their mind that they can actually see it and literally and figuratively or mentally touch it before it appears in the physical world. And what takes it to the next level to make these things become a reality is they take a moment, whether it's in prayer or anything or meditation or whatever they do. They may have a vision board. They do something every single day to remind them that is exactly what they are going to see at some time in the future. They don't fool themselves. They put in the work. So they know what they want. They know why they want it. They create this image in their minds to where that they can smell it. They can feel it all in their mind. They can touch it. It is here. It's just not here in physical form, but it's here in their minds. And then they know that once they have those 3 things, they know that they must go about the business of doing everything every day to bring that into reality. See, they're not delusional like I'm wishing for the lottery and then something's going to happen instantly. No, they know that whatever they want, why they want it, and the image that they see in their mind, there's got to be daily work done every single day. And I'll give you an example of that. When I was in prison, I wrote down goals that I wanted to accomplish when I got out. Some of the most audacious, ridiculous goals because of where I was starting from. And I'll get to that stuff in later videos. But where I was starting from, it was not a position that I was starting from where you would set these sort of goals. In all actuality, if you look at them from where I was, and if I was an inmate looking at those goals, I'd have been like, brother, you are absolutely crazy. You ain't doing that stuff. You just like us. You're going to be just like us. And so I had these very lofty goals because I wanted to see, hey, if I set these goals out here, and if I accomplish these goals, then I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt I could accomplish anything. And that's why all the things that I've accomplished now, the businesses, transportation company, being an author, being a speaker, all those things are just, if I start on something, I know I'm going to accomplish it because I was in a hellhole and I set these goals of being a college graduate, being an author and a business owner, and I've accomplished those things. And again, I was at 0. And literally, like what I've said to other people, I said, we all started in life running around this track. After running a couple of laps, I actually started running backwards, and I ran a couple of laps backwards. So now imagine that. We start running forward 2 laps. You keep running forward. I start running back the other direction. So not only are you 2 laps ahead of me, but you're another 2 laps ahead of me because you started out the right direction. I went back the wrong direction. And what I've told people is I said, I not only stopped, made an assessment of where I was, started running, and literally started sprinting back the correct direction. And now I have caught up to you, and I've now passed you. Some of you metaphorically. I've passed you in what I've done as far as getting a college degree, being a multiple business owner, writing multiple books, being a content creator, and who knows what else I'm going to do. And I mentioned this in the other video. I will have these books in some of the high schools, in the prison system, the juvenile system, the adult system, in Arizona and across the country. Because I'm not saying this braggadocio or anything, but I am one of one. There is nobody that can say that they've had the combined experience that I have had. When you add all those things together, you can take some of my experiences individually and say, yep, do you know somebody that went to prison? Yep. Do you know somebody that went to college? Yep. Do you know somebody who's a business owner? Yep. Do you know somebody who's a speaker? Yep. Do you know somebody who's an author? Yep. Do you know somebody who's a content creator? Yep. You know all those things. But if you put them all together, who do you know that's doing all of that and come from the depths of what I've come through as far as my childhood, the background, the neighborhood, and all those different things? Nope, sorry, I'm the only one that has done that. So I just wanted to talk to you specifically about that today, and that is, I believe every successful person has asked and answered those three questions. What do I want? Why do I want it? And then they created the image in their mind so strong before it appeared in the physical world. And I believe that is just the first step. But if you start on that path of knowing what you want, why you want it, and you create the image in your mind so strong, it feels real, you are absolutely on the path to planning your greatness. All right, I'm going to leave you with what I leave you with every single day that I'm on here. That is, plan your greatness. You know why? Because no one else will. I will see you guys all next time.